You know, we're here on the eve of the defamation trial, Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, and the civil lawsuit that he's filed against her. And you know, I just want to think about here really what a very strange, and a lot of people have commented on this, but just really what a very strange and totally unnecessary set of circumstances have brought us to this point. This has been going on since 2016, when Amber Heard first, you know, did her walk of shame outside the courtroom with that little bruise that she was trying to pass off as coming from Johnny Depp, and filed that restraining order and everything, right? That was 2016, and it's now 2022. It was 2019, as everybody knows, when Johnny Depp filed this lawsuit. And what's interesting to me is that, you know, normally in life, one of the things that's interesting to me about this is that normally in life, you know, time passes really fast. And I feel like, you know, I'm constantly being reminded of this. Like, I'm like, oh my God, it's already been that kid who was a baby. It just seems like maybe like 6 months ago is already like, you know, 10 or 15 or whatever, right? Or, oh, it was 15 years ago that this happened, or I did this. But what's interesting, one of the things that's interesting to me about this Johnny Depp situation is that I feel like it has been going on for fucking ever. And I know that if it feels that way to me, that it has got to feel that way to Johnny Depp, right? And, you know, and to Amber Heard, although it's by her own hand, this is happening. And so it feels like, and I've not been one of the people who have been covering this story as assiduously as some who've been on it, you know, just every day. And kudos to those people, and to those people who saw through Amber Heard's bullshit from early on, because I was not one of those. I just wasn't very invested in the story, you know, in the situation. I wasn't a fan of Johnny Depp. I didn't have a problem with him, you know, good actor. But when I see, you know, but I always saw him as kind of eccentric, you know. Unfortunately, I made that mistake that now I warn people, don't make, you know, when it comes to like Marilyn Manson, for instance. I made that mistake of thinking that because Johnny Depp had this eccentric, you know, character, and he was with this younger woman, and the younger woman's, you know, she's crying and everything, that it's got to mean that he did abuse her, right? It didn't occur to me that she was faking it, that it was a hoax. And I still remember, and I talked about this before, but I still remember when I read Johnny Depp's lawsuit, when it came out in, it was 2019, right? When it was filed. I still remember when I read Johnny Depp's lawsuit. I was in a hotel room. I was on a trip visiting my sister. I was in this hotel room. It was like 4 a.m. and I couldn't sleep. And I see that somebody that I follow on Twitter had tweeted, oh, it looks like Johnny Depp may actually be innocent. He may not have beat up Amber Heard, or may not have abused Amber Heard. And it looks like he was the victim of a hoax. And so then I found the lawsuit, and I start reading it, and I'm just reading it, and I'm just like, oh my God, right? Because it seems so unbelievable. And the thing is that, you know, unfortunately now it doesn't seem unbelievable, or as unbelievable, because we've seen since then, you know, that Johnny Depp thing was what really was a kind of canary in the coal mine in a number of ways, because now we've seen this repeated in a number of other circumstances that I talk about, you know, on my channel. And it's not like Amber Heard invented this kind of scam, but the particular media conditions right now, and the particular socio-political conditions right now, mean that a woman who accuses a man of something, of sexual assault, of abuse, of whatever, you know, has the advantage now of being promoted in the press. And so, you know, I just, it's been an interesting journey for me. And I think that what I'm thinking about now on the eve of this trial that so many of us have been waiting for, and, you know, understand too, that I've been following the Marilyn Manson case really closely. Like I said, I started my YouTube channel. Like I've told people, I started my YouTube channel to cover the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard stuff. Of course, there were a number of great people already doing it, right? But I thought I could make some interesting videos on the topic. And then several weeks after that is when the whole Marilyn Manson situation, the allegations broke. And so then I started getting really involved in that. But having kept my eye on this Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, and been following it somewhat and making videos and stuff about it, to be here now on the eve of this, also in the wake of what has recently happened with the Marilyn Manson situation, you know, with his defamation lawsuit exposing the, to quote Hillary Clinton, the vast conspiracy against him. How many of you are going to get that joke? I don't know. Hopefully a lot. But no, the vast conspiracy, the hoax that was perpetrated against Marilyn Manson, and that just continued, or you could say culminated, in the HBO documentary, The Hatchet Job, that Evan Rachel Wood starred in, and that came out a few weeks ago. So it's been interesting for me to look at these two situations in a kind of in tandem, and to see similar things occurring. You know, it's basically the same scenario, but there's just, you know, some differences here. And people like to point out, well, in the Marilyn Manson situation, you have many more accusers. But as I talk about in my program, on my show, that really doesn't mean anything now, and not in these heavily media charged situations and with these celebrities and stuff. But anyway, I'm not here, you know, to retread that old ground. I wanted to talk about what I'm thinking about here, you know, on the eve of this trial. And, you know, a lot of people have talked about what is at stake for Johnny Depp. And unfortunately, there was that, you know, just travesty of a judgment that the UK court handed down. And for a lot of people, you know, a lot of people saw that and like, ooh, Johnny Depp, he lost that lawsuit. So the pressure here, as we've all talked about, like the pressure is much more intense, because I really feel like this lawsuit is definitely the one that's going to matter. You know, for better or worse, right or wrong, a lot of people have a lot more of a sort of dismissive attitude about, or at least Americans do, right? about you know, a tabloid lawsuit going on, you know, occurring in the British courts. And a lot of people weren't even paying attention back then, you know, but this is going to be different, you know, and I know that the coverage has not been like crazy yet, right? But as this thing is being televised, and as soon as the larger media and the people who haven't been tuning in realize that there is this televised drama unfolding that has so many different pockets to it, like there's so many, what I mean by that is, there are so many aspects of this case. I mean, that when you tell people just like one aspect, they're like, what? You know, I've had the experience, and maybe some of you have too, who followed the story, but I've had the experience on several occasions of being able to explain to people, like friends and stuff in my own life, who really had no idea or had only vaguely heard some of this, explaining to them actually like the entire like soap opera, multi-year soap opera, and the unbelievability of it. It is truly, I mean, what's happened with the Johnny Depp situation, Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, the Amber Heard hoax, and what's happened was certainly with the Manson situation, the Marilyn Manson situation. It's where like, it's a great example of truth being stranger than fiction. Because if you had written for me a script, either the Johnny Depp or the Marilyn Manson situation, right? If you had written for me a script in which you said, okay, and then this guy, he's gonna, you know, marry this woman, and then she's going to, you know, despite being married to this, I'm talking about Amber Heard, despite being married to this wonderful guy who treats her like a queen, she's going to sabotage things and act and be abusive and crazy, and then she's going to construct an extensive hoax that she's going to perpetrate and join others to perpetrate with her, including unknowingly, I guess, Elon Musk. Well, unknowingly. I mean, Elon Musk certainly knew. He certainly has to know and has to have caught on, I think, rather quickly to what he was dealing with Amber Heard, and had to have figured it out pretty quickly, I would think, that she was not being honest with him, but whatever she was saying about Johnny Depp. You know, that's just what I think. He's not a stupid man. So at some point, I think he's seen the light. It'll be interesting to see, you know, what information comes out of this trial related to Elon Musk. But my point being, okay, that if you had written for me a script like this thing has so many deep pockets, so many different levels to the story, that when I tell people about this who don't really know about it, they're just amazed, right? And so, you know, just, I mean, even just the story, you know, she cut off his finger. She was responsible for his finger being sliced off, you know, and the thing about the shitting in the bed, and I mean, just every part of the story. And, and I invite people who, after this, especially after this trial is over, and hopefully Johnny Depp has a victory, I invite people who have not dipped their toe into the Marilyn Manson controversy and who think that he's this awful, psychotic, abusive guy who abused all these women. I would tell you to, you want to take a look at that too. You want to take a closer look at that, because you don't want to be wrong about that, like I was wrong initially about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, when I assumed for the first couple of years at least that she was telling the truth, at least until his lawsuit. Was it 2018 or 2019 that his lawsuit against the against Amber Heard related to the Washington Post thing was filed? Well, anyway, someone can correct me in the comments. But yeah, so what am I thinking here on the eve of this? I mean, it's certainly important to Johnny Depp. Now, I think that if he loses this, and I don't even want to say it, like I don't want to jinx anything, but my good friend Andrea Burkhart, she told me that even though she totally believes Johnny Depp, obviously, that if she had to place the odds, that she would place the odds for a Johnny Depp win at 51-49. Simply because of legal technicalities and circumstances and things that could go wrong and so forth, right? Well, 51-49, I mean, those are not great odds. I'd like to think it's higher, but I'm not a lawyer. But look, let's say that God forbid Johnny Depp doesn't win. I think that there will be enough stuff that, thank God, that comes out in this trial, especially since it's being televised, that that the media is not going to be able to hide, because it's going to be televised. And so I was commenting today on Twitter that I still am in shock. I still can't believe that this trial, with all the crazy stuff that's going to be in it and these movie stars and everything, that it's going to be televised. I mean, and not since I was a kid, when the O.J. Simpson saga was going on, and I was obsessed with it. I don't know, I was kind of a precocious kid, and I was really into, current events and celebrity stuff even back then. And I remember, that on VHS tapes, I taped every episode, every day of the O.J. Simpson trial. And that trial went on, it felt like, for what was it, like a year or something? I don't know, it was crazy. I taped every day of that trial, and I would come home from school. I was in grade school, basically, or, somewhere around there, a little older than that. But I would come home, from school, and then I would sit there with my snack, and I would watch, as a kid. So anyway, my point being that the fact that we even are going to get to see this exhibition, and, I know this is a very serious thing for Johnny Depp, and I'm not at all making light of it, okay? But I'm saying that in addition to being a very serious matter for Johnny Depp, this is also just a fascinating sociocultural and historical event, and I don't think that a lot of people still have quite caught on to that, right? Those of us who've been following this story, and people who, are in the Justice for Johnny Depp movement, and supporters online and all that, I get it. But this is really, when we come through this in a few weeks, it's going to be interesting. I'm gonna really enjoy a few weeks from now, or a month, or whenever the trial is over. What is it, several weeks? And we get a verdict. I'm going to really enjoy coming back to this question of, how was the coverage? How was the media coverage? And how big of a story did this become? Because I think probably when we're on the other side of it, this will become a really big story. And you're just, the top of the day, every day, top of the Daily Mail, there's going to be headlines and so forth. And it's not going to be, it's not going to be perceived as just this UK tabloid trial. And again, this thing, even since the UK trial, this has had a lot of time to percolate. So there's while certainly there's a lot of me that is nervous, a huge part of me that's nervous for Johnny Depp, and I want the best for him, and I really do want Amber Heard to get her comeuppance, just like I want these false accusers in the Marilyn Manson case to get their comeuppance. I also, I'm kind of like a kid in the candy store. Like we're about to live through something interesting, and so that's something. And it is good that it's being televised, because people will directly see it. It won't have to come through a media filter, right? Like the UK trial did. Not that Nick Wallace did an amazing job. I'm not talking about him, but just, some of the headlines and in general, the way that it was handled by others. And I guess what I'm thinking is, right, is tonight is what must Johnny Depp be feeling and what must Amber Heard be feeling? And I think that Johnny Depp, no matter what happens, I think he has come through this like a true warrior, and I think that he will be restored no matter what happens, even if he doesn't prevail in this court, in this trial. I think that he will be restored in Hollywood and his legacy, and I think Amber Heard's gonna have a really rough time. I think she, even if she's not found guilty in this trial, I think that yeah, it's gonna. I don't know. My friend Celtic Iron said, well, she'll write a book, and that's probably a good idea. She probably will. Or have one ghostwritten, because like the Washington Post article that she wrote, the editorial that she wrote, right, it was basically ghostwritten, right, by like the ACLU stuff. Anyway, so, Johnny Depp, I think that he's got to be actually feeling pretty at peace. I would imagine he's feeling at peace no matter what. He's come through this. He's going to come out of it. He's going to be okay. Amber Heard, she has got to be, I just don't see any way that she's not a complete wreck internally, psychologically over this. She has got, I know that this woman is in denial, and I know that that's part of her personality disorder, and whatever multiple personality disorders are afflicting her, that she doesn't deal with reality. But reality is like right now, it's got a loudspeaker like aimed right at her eardrum. And I just don't see how some of this is not getting in, right? And in terms of the fact that she's about to go through the ringer, she's about to be put through the ringer, and rightly so, but in terms of a lot of stuff that makes her look really bad getting out. And whatever technicalities with this legal question results in, however they result in a verdict one way or the other, the verdict of the public and it is going to be very negative for her. And a lot of people still have not been following the story, and this is going to be their first exposure because it's going to be really big, and they're going to be like, what? It's like my it's like my sort of father-in-law. I call him that because the guy that I've been with for many years, but we're not technically married. I get questions about that sometimes. Like, you say you're married, but you're not, and so that's basically it. Like, I don't know what the word is, right? Like common law marriage, but I just my parents. This is kind of an aside, but my parents had a really bad marriage, and I just never wanted to get married, right? Never dreamed about my dress or my big day or how I'd be proposed to or whatever. But you still you want to have a committed relationship and everything. So anyway, that explains that. But my sort of father-in-law, I talked to him after I started my channel, like maybe a year ago, and he had watched just some of my videos about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, and he didn't know anything about it before he watched my videos, and he was like, oh my God, I can't believe there's this huge, crazy story that I haven't heard about, and all of the elements to it, right? You have this really famous actor and this woman that he married who's now constructed this hoax against him and abetted by all these, these other people, and the media's gone along with it, and she's ruined him. Anyway, this whole thing, right? Anyways, and so it's a crazy story, and it's about to be exposed. It's about to be put out there for a lot more people to see. And Amber Heard, she's not coming back for the next Aquaman. And I don't see, I just don't see how I would bet all the money that I'll ever have on the fact that her career does not survive this. Now, will she not be able to make money in the future? No, she can do things, talked about. She can do porn, or she can, write a book, or, who knows? Yeah, there's probably still a lot of stuff that, a beautiful narcissistic grifter who's a household name, or who will be a household name after this trial. There are things that she can do, but in terms of credible stuff, or in terms of anyone, if her ever having real esteem again, if she ever had it, right? But no, she's, it's over. And so I just can't imagine. And then of course, if she's found guilty, that's a whole other thing, right? If she's found guilty, then it's like that scene in Aliens. Have you ever seen Bill Paxton in Aliens? And he's like, game over, man, game over, right? Like, that's going to be Amber Heard if she loses this trial. It's going to be game over, okay? If you haven't seen Aliens, then you have no idea what I was Anyways, why don't you put her in charge then? So anyway, God rest Bill Paxton's soul. I love him. He was a great actor. He was great in any movie he was in. Okay, even like Twister. You know, Twister was a good movie. I like those tornadoes. Aren't they remaking it? I read they were remaking Twister, and I would love to see that because those are some awesome CGI tornadoes in that movie. Jan de Bont, Speed, right? Does he make movies anymore? Anyway, I'm sorry for all those digressions, but this is a big deal. And so Amber Heard has got to be really fucking scared, is basically what I'm saying. She might be like displacing it or popping mollies or whatever to deal with it. But like, there's a loudspeaker at her ear, at the door of her brain saying, hey, there's some big shit and some bad shit that's about to go down. And we're not just talking about what she left on Johnny Depp's bed. So, yeah. So, and then let me just say, there's somebody else who's got to be feeling kind of nervous too. And that person's Evan Rachel Wood. Because Evan Rachel Wood, you know, is basically, as I've talked about on my show, my channel, take a look at my videos, she is basically doing the same thing that Amber Heard is doing. She and the other accusers, Manson accusers, are following basically in Amber Heard's footsteps. It's a whole sort of playbook now that's being utilized across the board by multiple people in different instances to weaponize Me Too. And there are other instances I've talked about on my show. I won't go into it right now. You know, like the Andrew Cuomo thing. He's being vindicated now. It turns out that was a political hit job. And I don't like Andrew Cuomo or anything, but I'm just saying, like, he was innocent of that stuff. Look into it. I've done videos on it. But anyway, my point is, you know, Evan Rachel Wood, she's got to be nervous too, because Evan Rachel Wood, I just want you to know that what you're seeing, what you're about to see happen to Amber Heard, this is your fate. Because you did more egregious things, actually. You and Ilma Gore, your girlfriend, activist, co-conspirator, hoaxer, you ladies, you actually did more egregious things in the construction of your hoax than Amber Heard even did. And that's saying some pretty bad stuff. So, you know, Evan and the other Manson accusers, pay attention to what's about to go down, because that is the long road. That is the culmination of the long road that you have in front of you now, due to this chain of events that you have set in motion. And I guess that's kind of where I want to leave things, is that looking at this trial and thinking about this Johnny Depp trial and the situation, and then also the Marilyn Manson situation, what I keep thinking is this is all so unnecessary, right? These women didn't have to do this. You know, Amber Heard, she had one of the most, it sounds like, you know, wonderful or attentive boyfriends / husbands wrapped around her finger. And she couldn't help herself. She had to be just a crazy, psycho, abusive bitch. If she had just reined it in a little, if she had just played it a little more cool, you know, if you're going to be Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct, then you need to be like chill, like Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct, right? Sharon Stone was chill until the moment when it was time to take out the ice pick. She got Amber Heard. She's like that chick in The Exorcist. It just, anyway. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, so, you know, I guess my point is, like, this was all so unnecessary. Amber Heard had this guy wrapped around her finger, and even if she wanted to get a divorce from Johnny Depp, if she had been sweet about it, if she had used her, like, sweet feminine wiles, if she treated the guy fairly or whatever, he was gonna take care of her. He still loved her, for God's sake. I mean, he wanted to get back together with her eventually anyway. That whole tragic, heartbreaking San Francisco episode that they went through, that Johnny Depp went through with her. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look at my video, the Johnny Depp San Francisco something, I can't remember. But anyway, you know, he loved her. He would have been very fair to her. This hoax was not necessary, but she wanted, like Evan, Rachel Wood, she wanted to be this big activist and have this whole, like, political thing, you know, and this social activism career, and be someone of substance and importance, and have this cause that she's fighting for and everything. And she wanted to get money from Johnny Depp. You know, she was looking to, let's not forget that originally a big part of the motivation here was money, and to try to bully Johnny Depp and his lawyers into a better settlement, and so on and so forth. So, but she would have gotten a lot of money anyway. Like, it's just none of this was necessary. And it's really almost a kind of a Freudian death drive or something at work, of people who have been given a great situation and are just bound and determined, consciously or I guess unconsciously, to sabotage it. And the same with Evan Rachel Wood. There was no need. Evan Rachel Wood is an A-list Hollywood actress with, you know, projects and esteem and money, I suppose. And then she, out of nowhere, she kicks up this hoax against Manson, spurred on by her you know, new girlfriend at the time, who was an activist and a hoaxer. But none of this was necessary. None of it was necessary. And it's, you know, someday I'll talk about Macbeth. It's one of my favorite works of literature. I'm not going to do it here because I don't feel like I don't have time. But one of the great lessons of Shakespeare's Macbeth is the degree to which people will unconsciously sabotage themselves and self-destruct. And you know, there's a line in Macbeth, and a lot of people know this if you know Macbeth, right? A lot of people who study Macbeth, but there's a line where he says, I am in blood, stepped in so far that returning were as perilous as going over. In other words, Macbeth said, I have gotten into such deep shit. I have like waded into the blood, because he was killing people, right? So, I mean, Amber Heard hasn't, as far as we know, has not killed anyone. But Macbeth says, I have killed so many people, or I've done so many shitty things, that I am now like surrounded. I'm like, I have waded into the blood, right? I'm into the blood deep, and the only way out, there's no way out but just to go through more blood. Right? I just got to keep killing. I got to keep it up. And I mean, that is really a depiction of what we see with Amber Heard and the way she's conducted herself. There have been multiple times when she could get off this train, when she could stop this ticking time bomb that she had initiated. But she, you know, when she could take the exit ramp off the highway to destruction, she just wouldn't. And so there's a lesson there to be learned, and I hope that Evan Rachel Wood and the Marilyn Manson accusers are paying attention. But regardless, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. It'll be an education for a lot of us, that's for sure. So good luck to Johnny Depp. I look forward to being here to talk about the trial. I'm going to try to have shows coming out in the morning and the evening every day that the trial is going on, and also hopefully some on the weekends. So yeah, tune in. And as always, to support my work on any of the cases that I look at, you can hit me up on Patreon, PayPal, the links are below. Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell. All right, bye-bye.